Hooray, we have at least 4 people.
Morning.
Morning.
You grab a paddle?
Yep, any paddle you like. And the name tag you got. Did you fill out a liability waiver yet? So yeah, I didn't have it. Yeah, I didn't have any last week. So this week I'm going to get everybody to do one. There should be a pen there. I guess what I'm going to teach you, I need a paddle. I did teach with a shoe once.
You said a thicker, women should have a thicker, like this should be thicker.
Yeah, you want a thicker paddle. Yeah, thicker paddles make the game easier to play. I'm going to throw this one out.
Oh.
It's just, it's so soft, it's really hard for new players to play with.
But there's not any real difference in the size of the
A little bit,
surface,
but nothing
right?
major. This one's quite a bit smaller.
And does that make a difference?
Yeah, it makes the game a little harder to play with.
Okay.
This one's really small and thin.
Mm-hmm.
Should also probably be thrown out, but in fact it will. Just a little easier to play. For edge-to-edge consistency when you hit off center, a thicker paddle just makes it easier to play. So.
There was that one where it was like that, where everyone decided that something happened and they like owe the rights to your life. I don't know, it was ridiculous.
So they made a TV show of her and they followed her around and she signed off on it when she accepted all those.
Like the Netflix terms or something.
Yeah.
It was actually terrifying.
Yeah.
Was it true? No.
No.
But it was just, but still.
Still, like, good.
Awesome, thank you. Oh, I know who's missing. It's the couple, the other couple.
Many.
They don't want to play together.
Yeah. That's okay. We have 4. That's all we need.
Well, they kind of rolled in late. Well, not late, last minute.
Okay. Well, maybe they're still
Just
coming
be
in.
there.
Could be their MO.
Yeah.
It's been 2 weeks. Got to see what you guys remember.
1 week.
Wasn't it 2? Oh, no, you're right. It is 1.
See what you remember.
Yeah.
I remember. It's such a big bruise on my knee. I must have like hit the floor with my knee at some point. I didn't
Or whacked it with your paddle.
doing it at all. Or maybe my paddle.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, why do I have such a giant bruise?
All right, well, you guys can get started warming up. I'll keep an eye out on the door for Manny and Caroline. Out. All right, so they're not here, so we're going to get started. We'll kind of listen for them. If I don't hear very well, so if you happen to hear the buzzer go, let me know. There's a buzzer just inside the door on the other side of that curtain. Sometimes when there's a lot of noise, I don't hear it. Okay, so let's start with any questions you might have had from last week after you left. Sometimes people leave and they go, wait a minute, what did he say, blah, blah, blah. No? Okay. So our most important calls, just a quick review on those. When the ball lands out, we say out. Exactly. When the ball changes sides, we say side out. Yeah. When the serve changes from the first server to the second server, we say second serve. Yeah. And point is the other call. Right. So those are our major calls. We have a starting server, who is the person on. I have starting server wristbands. All right, so Stevie's going to be the starting server on this team. So you can pick. These are all clean. They're just out of the laundry. Any wrist.
Okay, sorry, I just have to get.
There you go. Okay. Any. Oh, you're the starting server on this team. So any wristband.
A scrunchie.
Yeah, a scrunchie, exactly.
So
Put it on your.
that's because you're
Yeah, I'm going to review that in 1 second. So, starting servers, put the wristband on your right wrist, and I'll explain why in a minute. Okay. So the team, both teams have a team member who starts serving, and that's the person on the right. Correct? Okay. So by marking the starting server, we remember who served to start the game, and that's important because you're coming in on the right side at 0-0. After that, if you score a point, the starting server is going to move to the left side. Score another point, they're going to move back to the right side. So that means that the starting server is always on the right side when your score is even, and always on the left side when your score is odd. Right?
Just to help you keep track of score.
It's for the referee. It's really for the referee, but it really helps players to remember, am I odd? Am I even? Because sometimes in a rally you get mixed up and you're not sure, am I supposed to be standing on the left and standing on the right? What is our score? Are we odd? Are we even? So it helps you keep track of score. And then there's another thing that we can do, which is we start the rally with the starting server. Let's start the game with the starting server with the wristband on their right. At side out, if the starting server is on the left side and your score is odd, you move the wristband over to the left side. That tells you that you ended the rally, or they ended your at side out. You ended your turn with the starting server in the left court. When the ball comes back, that means that they're going to be server number 2, and their partner is going to be on the right, server number 1. Right? So just by moving the wristband, wearing the wristband first of all, and then moving it at side out to the correct side, helps players keep track of where they are, who's the first server, who's the second server, which court they're supposed to be on. Does that make? Every tournament, there's a starting server wristband. It's a wristband, yeah. Every tournament, yeah, it's very common, yeah. In league play, you'll see it quite often. In all of our mixed doubles pairs here, we use wristbands. if you're very familiar with how to keep score, you don't have to move the wristband from right to left at side out. But for new players, yeah, it's a good way to do it. And more of my advanced players are doing it because then there's less squabbling over score or who's supposed to be where, right? It makes things really, really clear. So.
How do you determine starting? I know you said you started serve, but you just pick as a team?
So every facility, so the rule book says that the facilities can make their own rule. In a tournament, there will be tournament rules about who the starting server is. Sometimes it'll be a coin toss. Sometimes it'll be a racket toss. So, you know, there are different ways to do it. In this facility and most facilities in Calgary, the court that's furthest away from the door that you enter through is going to be the starting server position. It's always the person on the right. Oh, between the two of you, you can decide. Yeah. So I have a really strong backhand. So my teams always choose to start me on the backhand side. So that means I never serve first.
So once you get to know,
Yeah.
I would never start this.
Yeah. Some teams choose to start their strongest server, and that can be a really good strategy. Yeah. To start the game, the starting team only gets one opportunity to serve, right? So that's another option. Personally, I happen to think that you want the better backhand player on the backhand side of the court, but everybody has their own theory. So good question. Yeah. So that was the other thing I wanted to review. At the start of the game, the score is 0-0-2, indicating that the serving team is starting with their last serve, right? Because they only get one turn to serve to start the game. I prefer to use the term 0-0 start, because that way the wristband doesn't get confusing. Yeah. Yeah. So what I want to do is play for about 15 minutes, and we're not going to keep score just yet. I want to get used to the starting wristband. I want to get used to recalling side out, second serve, point, all that stuff. At side out, I want the wristbands to change hands so that they're on the correct side, just so we get in the habit of doing that. And after we've had about 15 minutes of that, we'll take a drink. And then we're actually going to start playing games and keeping score and all that stuff. We should have, so we'll take a break on every half hour, on the half hour and on the top of the hour. We have to stop at 1:45 because we have a soccer group coming in right after us. So we'll stop, we'll have a little review, we'll put some equipment away, and then we'll make sure that we're out of here in time for them to come in. All right? Okay. So won't keep score yet, but we will call point, we will call side out, we will call second serve, and we will call out. Oh, nice shot. Okay, so what happens there? Side out, correct? Awesome. Okay, now at side out, we want to check the wristband. You guys didn't get a point, so your wristband is on the correct wrist. That just means that next, when you do get the ball back, you're going to be the starting server. You're going to be the first server. Okay, go ahead. Oh, nice try. So what's our call now? Second serve. Oh, hang on. Where does the server's partner stand? Exactly. Yeah, and you're in the correct place. There we go. All right. No, she was outside of the kitchen, but that would be a point. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's in. Okay, so that's a point. I'm going to check the door. You guys keep going, okay? That would be a fault. Side out. Pause. Oh, no, no, not sorry. Second serve. Nothing yet. Second serve. Oh, good. Point. No, you're the service partner, stays back. And hang on one second. The way to remember that is she's going to serve. It's going to have to bounce. It's going to come back. It's going to have to bounce again. So you want to stay back to allow that second bounce. And then you'll be forward. Yeah. Out. That's another point. That's a point. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah, come on in. So you can hit a ball into the kitchen. That's not a problem. You can hit a ball into the kitchen. Yeah, you guys can hit it out of the air in the kitchen. Yeah.
And it needed to bounce because she was returning it.
Yep.
It needed to bounce, so it can bounce in here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, except on the serve. Right? On the serve, it can't bounce. Okay, so that's your point, isn't it? Oh, no. Oh, there you go. So that's a side out. Okay. Now, we're going to check your wristband. So you're on the left side, so you want to move your wristband to the left side. No, at side out. Okay. The reason you do it at side out, come on in so I don't have to shout this. Okay. So now that we're all set up, we know next time that because the wristband is on her left wrist, we know that she's on the left court and that she's going to be server number 2. Which means by default, you're going to be on the right side and you're going to be server number 1. Right? This just helps you keep track of how this works. Fault. Yeah, that's all right. Second serve. That would be side out, correct? Okay. So if you guys got mixed up, who would be the starting server? Who would be the first server? You. And how do you know for sure? Exactly, the wristband. Okay, check your wristbands. Yeah, did you guys earn a point? You didn't earn a point, so the wristband is in the correct place. Right? That's out. That's a point. All right, second serve. So no, you're going to serve. It has to bounce. They're going to return. That has to bounce. So she needs to stay back to allow that ball to bounce. Your team does, but he comes forward. Fault. Okay. So that's a side out. At side out, we check our wristband. That's right. You're on the right side, so you want to put the wristband on the right. So now we know when the ball comes back over here, because the wristband's in your right wrist, you're going to be the first server for your team. Right? Yeah, there you go. Okay, point. Out. Another point. Ryan's liking his partner now. Okay, second serve. Fault. So that's a side out. So we're going to check your wristband. You got 2 points, so that's correct. Point. Oh no, second serve. My mistake. Second serve. All right, so that would be, and check your wristband. Yep, that's all correct. Okay, how do we know that she's the first server? Wristband is on her right wrist. Okay, all right. Oh, that's a fault. That's a fault. Okay. So Ryan hit it out of the air, and the momentum carried him into the kitchen. So that's a fault. Okay, no worries. That's a point for you. That's a point for you guys, right? Point. Point. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that? Did you serve? Oh, I'm sorry. My mistake. So that is second serve. Oh, what a get. Good get. Out. Well done, Ryan.
So if it hits
That's a
the
point.
net, it's still okay?
Good question. Come on in. So Val's question is, if it hits the net, is it still okay? The answer is the net doesn't matter. What matters is what happens after it hits the net. So if it hits the net and lands in, it's in. If it hits the net and lands out, it's out. And the same thing on the serve.
So it doesn't matter. Like if it's here, it's probably good. If it hits the net.
If it hits the net this way and comes over, that's good for you. What's that? Yeah, if it's a serve and it lands in the kitchen, then it's out.
But if it's a serve and hits and still hits it in, it's fine.
Yep. Yeah, nice shot. So what is that? Point. Fault. You're supposed to let it bounce. Exactly. Side out, correct? Okay, we're going to check our wristband. Okay, good. Yep.
So if it's near the middle,
Mm-hmm.
push it.
That's a good question. Come on in.
Together.
Okay, so it's not. This is not a rule, so
No,
I can't answer it as a rules question. Every team has to work that out on their own, right? But the general rule is respect the X. So the X goes from diagonal across the court, right? So if it's coming across the center line towards you, it would be your shot. If it's coming across the center line towards you, it would be your shot.
Kind of in the middle.
Yeah, and if it's in the middle, then if it's not clear, then one of you has to call it and say mine.
Yeah. I might have called it late out of it.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just a good shot. Fault. Come on in for a second. All right. There are actually 2 faults there, Val.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why not?
Are you allowed to touch the baseline while you're serving? No. I haven't been calling those because you guys are just learning.
Did I,
Yeah.
my foot was over?
Yeah, your toe was touching, just touching, but it was clear that it was touching. I am a referee, so I watch for these things. Yeah. So there would be a service fault there. Now you guys are just learning. I'm not going to be too rigorous about calling those, but it's important to
Bad
know.
habits.
Yeah, exactly. You want to develop the habit of serving from behind the service line, and then the second part was the failure to allow a second bounce. That would be the second fault. Okay. So we're going to play one more point, then we're going to take a break, and then we're going to start keeping score. Good shot. Great. All right, let's take a little break, have a sip. I'm going to check the door, and then we're going to come back and start keeping score.
Thinking we were gonna start. Did not want beginners there. It was obvious.
Where was this?
We walked in and signed up, and that's the only time
Hey, wait, is pickleball not very inclusive?
Oh, it can be terribly non-inclusive.
It really depends on the level. So if I walked into a beginner program,
Yeah.
there'd be a lot of people who would be very unhappy to see me there.
Well, yeah.
And if a beginner walked into a program at my level,
Yeah.
most people wouldn't be very
No,
happy
but
to
like
see.
a whole community pickleball.
It depends on how it's organized. If it's just a drop-in, open drop-in, everybody should be welcome. So
There were many groups of men who play 4 or 5 times a week, and they play there one day a week. They
During
did not
open.
want us.
Yeah.
You have to remind them that it's open.
Yeah.
And they were brand new. We shouldn't have been there.
Well,
We
no,
were
don't
Well,
say
it's
that
open.
if it's open.
Yeah.
Like, how do you?
There are men's groups that don't like women. There are women's groups that don't like men. There are mixed doubles groups that don't like all male teams or all female teams.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, you got to be aware of the context, right? But
This facility is good though.
yeah, but here, like, we have beginner programs, we have novice programs. In our rec programs, at the heart of the day, people decide for themselves what level they're at. If a person who is consistently at the wrong level is coming consistently to the wrong level, the manager will talk to them. And some people have, so we've had in the past some members who were not at the skill level that they thought they were at, and the manager had to talk to them, and they've left angry. We can't help that, right?
Yeah,
The group says, this person's not at our level, shouldn't be coming to this session, and they're given a chance, but.
Well, I am excited for them to come
That's my recommendation.
Yeah, I gotta go to the beginner tonight.
There isn't much difference between beginner and novice other than a confidence thing.
Okay.
Intermediate, players are a little more consistent. There isn't a big difference between intermediate and advanced here.
But they know the rules.
Yeah, and they've got the experience
So
playing.
beginner
Learning the rules, yeah, exactly.
It's good though to go to a level you're comfortable with.
It is, yeah.
I wouldn't go to it.
You're going to have more fun if you're playing with people who are at your level.
If people are funny, I think sometimes they have a different view.
Yeah. So we do have leveled programs where you have to be at a certain level to get into them, and then we have the rec programs, which are just open and self-assessed. So now, has anybody checked since we talked last week with the office to find out if the fee that you paid includes your membership?
It does.
It does?
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought it said.
Yeah.
So does your receipt say that you've got it? Do you have a receipt for your membership?
My receipt didn't say that I have a membership. It just said that I paid $70.
But it
Yeah, I
does.
just remember what's included in that 70, and it was.
But there was a description, but there was an old description. I'm wondering if, so I don't know if it's changed because the new description doesn't say that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I don't know. So you're going to want to check with the office. You're going to want to look at your receipt, which Sandy did. And if it doesn't say it includes your membership, you want to ask. I think it does, but I'm not 100% certain. And don't quote me and don't tell anybody what Brent said because Brent doesn't really know.
To say like if you're signing up.
Yeah, you should get a membership card.
I didn't get a card or anything.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That side. Doesn't say on this side. Now maybe there was a second page.
Oh, mine look different than that.
Oh.
That's the email. That's the email. That's not the page on Sign Up Genius. So anyway, you got time to figure it out. I'm pretty sure it does. I'm not 100% sure, but talk to them and just email back to that whoever made that system.
Are there like all different ages of people who play?
It's mostly seniors during the day. There are some working people who are like contractors or self-employed people playing during the day who are under senior age, but most of them are over 55. We do have some competitive groups in the evening that skew younger, and then there's a family drop-in on late Saturday afternoons that also skews younger. But for the most part, this is an older facility. But
Yeah, the only times really during the day and during the week for us because it's group training on weekends.
yeah, but that's where you want to be anyway. You're gonna, so you're gonna probably have more fun in group training than even playing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, group training it sounds like it's work, but it's all game-based training.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot of fun.
So that's coach.
Yeah, it's coached, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we do skills development games. So you're still playing games, but you're working on specific skills in those games.
And is the cost difference between drop-in versus?
Yeah. It's $15 an hour for the group training. It's $8 an hour during the day, during the week for or $8 for 2 hours, I guess.
So if you wanted to get better in a specific skill, is that where you go, or do you
Yeah.
have separate like classes, learning classes?
Yeah, that's what group training is.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like we could ask about your stroke.
Yeah, there's classes so the individual classes are on over here, right? So you want to, it's also on the website. There's a lessons page on the website. So yeah, let's go back on court and start keeping score. I love the questions, but we got to get some playing in too. So. All right, so we're gonna split the teams up. We're gonna put the two pink ladies together. That's kind of pink, Stevie. And we'll put Ryan and Sandy together. Okay, you guys huddle and come up with a cool team name. You guys huddle and come up with a cool team name. And then we're gonna write the team names down. When you're ready, come over and tell me your team name. Okay, come on over and tell me it. The Sweet Pickles. I like that. The Sweet Pickles. The Pink Ladies. That's awesome. Okay, so those are our team names. All right, so we're going to play games and we're going to start to keep score now. Just let me close this door. Okay, who's your starting server? She's going to start, and you're wearing the starting server wristband on your right wrist. Who is your starting server? Stevie? Okay, she's wearing the starting wristband on her right wrist to start the game. Who starts? These guys do. All right, where's the ball? Oh, here we go. There you go, Stevie. Yep. Excellent question. So when have we been calling point? Only the serving team, right? Otherwise, it's if it's not the serving turn, if the rally ends with the word point, it means that the serving term scored a point. If the rally ends and the serving team doesn't score a point, the call is either second serve or side out. Right? Okay. Okay, pink ladies to serve at 0-0 start. And a swing and a miss. Okay, that's a point. That's a point right here. Can you see that score? Okay, so you're going to call 1-0 start. All right, side out. We're going to check your wristband. There we go. Awesome. Zero, one, one. Fault. Service fault. She was standing on the line when she made contact with the ball. Second serve. Out. Side out. Check your wristband. Okay. Okay, what is the score, Val?
1-0.
Yeah. You are the first server. Yeah. 1-0. So your score is 1. Their score is 0. You're the first server. So 1. Yeah. It's in. Good. Yeah. That's awesome. So that's a point. Right? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Not for the sweet pickles. That was a sour mistake on my part.
2-0.
Yep. 2-0, first server. Point. All right, so what's the call there? Second serve. Yeah. 3-0-2. Yep. Yep. Oh. Side out. Yeah, side out. Check your wrist. Yeah. Okay. Correct. Fault. Second serve. Point. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Side out. Side out. Side out. Hang on. How do we know you're the first server? Yeah? How else do we know that you're the first server? The wristband is on her left wrist, which means she's the second server. So if she's the second server, you have to be the first server. Process of elimination. Fault. Service fault. Second serve. Your toe, as you step forward, your toe is on the line. A little bit, yep. Okay, second serve. Out. Side out. Check your wristband. It's correct. Score. Perfect. That's a point. All right, Sweet Pickles have their first point. How sweet it is. Correct. Fault. Yep, fault. Fault. Second serve. Score, Ryan. Point. Point for the Sweet Pickles. Stop. Call the score. Out. A fault. Side out. Point for the Pink Ladies. Second serve. Oh, stop. Got to call the score. Got to call the score. 4-2-2, that's correct. You have to call the score. So come on in. Come on. Yep, it's a requirement. It's a rule. Okay, so if they don't call the score, you guys don't return the ball.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just don't return the ball. Just catch the ball and say, please call the score. And pass the ball back. As long as they don't return it, it's not a foul.
But does she lose the serve?
No, you're just going to stop it and correct. So just come in for a second. I get it. The referees are not here to punish people or to catch people disobeying the rules. The referee will facilitate the score, will facilitate you guys playing correctly. That's the referee's job. If you're playing on your own, you also don't want to be trying to gotcha to the other team. You want to be educating. You want to be reminding people how to do it fairly and how to do it by the rules. So you just want to say, oh, sorry, you forgot to call the score. Please serve again. Okay? 4-2-2 is correct. Fault. So that's a side out. Okay, check your wristband. There we go. Correct. Point. Hang on. Point for the sweet pickles. I got to write it down. There it is. No, but so later today, I'm going to show you a trick about how to keep score when you don't have a scoreboard. So. Correct. Fault. Second serve. Point. Point. Fault.
That's on the line, and probably already asked you this. That's on the line, and we return it.
Yeah, good question. Come on in. These are important questions, and it's important that everybody hears the answers rather than the echoes.
It was on, yeah.
It landed on the blue line. Okay. So Val's question is, the serve landed on the blue line, so it's obviously out. What happens if they return it, even though it's out? It's out the second it hits the ground. The second it hits the ground and it's out, play is over. It doesn't matter if you hit it or not, because it's out the second it hits the ground. Okay? All right, so that's a side out. Yeah, so at side out, you need to check your wristband. Yes, you guys are 5, so it should be on your left wrist. That's correct. Yep. So what's your score? 4-5-1. So that's second serve. No, second serve. Correct. All right, so that's the side out. Check your wristband. Okay. Fault. Second serve. Second serve. Fault. Point. Who's? Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. You're right. For some reason, I thought the pink ladies were serving. Out. No, I landed like 3 feet out. It landed way out here. It landed way over here, Val.
This is the one.
Nice shot. Point. Oh, how many write down your point? Forgot to write it down. Second serve. Point. 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 Out. That's a fault. No, it goes to 11. Yeah. Okay, so that's a side out. Check your wristband. That's correct. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whose score do you call first? Yeah? Good get. Now, well done. Point for the pink ladies. Oh. It's a side out. Wristband change. Good. 5. Yep. What would have happened if you would have hit that, Sandy? It would have been a fault because you have to let it bounce. Okay, so that's second serve now. Was it side out? Second serve. Second serve. That's what I thought. Fault. Side out. Second serve. Five, 9, 2. Yep. Nice try. And that is side out. Oh, sorry, point. Point, point, point. 6, 9, 2. Fault. Side out. Good serve. Fault. Second serve. They don't in pickleball? No? There we go. Fault. Side out. Correct. Oh, sorry. Out. Second serve. Second serve. Side out. Uh-oh. Correct. Second serve. Out. Side out. Point. Up. Aren't you two? Oh, I'm sorry. 8-10-1. You were correct. Oh, good get. All right, second serve. Nice shot. Point. That was twice. Side out. Second serve. It was in, and that's an ace. And that's game. Yep. So this is the way it was done before COVID. But since COVID, people have switched to doing it just this way. Because your hand is on the handle, touching handles is more likely to pass.
And you do that after the game?
Yes, you always touch paddles at the net. Okay, so that was great. Any questions?
How do you remember this?
Okay, so that's a valid question. So most people work off of just memory because there's not a scoreboard typically, right? I use the scoreboard just to help people understand and keep track of the score. When you're learning, you have enough to remember. It's not always easy to remember the score. So I'm going to show you a method for keeping score that works really, really well. But first, we're going to have a drink. Okay, we're going to have a drink and a little break, and then I'm going to show you a little trick. A lot of people struggle with the score, Stevie.
That's what we said.
You would want to be competitive.
All our friends
Whereas
are
I don't
making
care.
fun of us. They're like, so you guys are gonna get real good for when we're ready. Everybody plays this.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, pickleball is very popular right now.
Yeah. It is. I like it.
And younger people are.
They
Yeah,
are.
for sure.
We just happen to be the first one in our
Oh, are
family.
you? My kids, actually, I asked them if they wanted to come to this. Because they've just kind of picked it up on their own.
Yeah.
It's probably good. It's like golf. You can pick it up on your own,
Yeah.
but should you?
Well, it's good to know the rules
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the etiquette.
Yeah.
But I also want to be able to play with my mom. I did a little pickleball court by their cabin.
Yep.
And so I think it'll be fun to play.
Sure.
It's a very social game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very easy for a better player to drop their level so that everybody can have fun.
Yeah.
What they're teaching it in the schools?
They are.
Like high schools?
Yeah.
They are?
Oh, good.
And junior highs.
But it makes a lot of sense because it's so nice to play in a gym because the ball doesn't bounce so much. So you're not spending all the time, like tennis, I spend all the time going to retrieve the ball.
Yeah.
Because it bounces so much.
Well, it's a bigger
And it's
court
so easy to
too.
get the ball.
Well, I know because it's so bouncy, whereas this one it's contained.
I like that they do that in school though, because anybody can play.
Well, it's a good hand-eye
Anybody.
coordination.
Well, and yeah.
but yeah, like not
You don't
a lot
have to be a
running.
great big, tall,
You know, gym's terrible
Yeah.
in school.
especially in high school.
Oh, I have one kid that loves gym, female, and then I have two other females who think it was the worst thing they've ever walked into in their lives.
Okay.
I can understand.
Yeah. Because it isn't always a
No, it's like one my other little.
Come on in, we're going to have a little chat.
I liked it, and he liked it. I hated it. I hated it.
You? I liked it, but I hated the girls too. I always wanted to go and play with the boys.
I was not.
And now you're a professional.
Oh, now
pickleball player.
now look at me. I'm
Yeah.
at 8 a.m. on a Sunday.
High performance coach now. Okay, so you'll sometimes see people with these things around their handles, and you'll go, why do they have a little hair scrunchie around their, it's called a scrunchie too? Why? Hair tie. Why is it on their handle? And this is a scorekeeping tool. So my hands are the score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Right? When my score is 0, this is on my handle. When my score is 1, it's on my thumb. When it's 2, it's on this finger. When it's 3, it's on this finger. 4, 5, 6 is here. Right? 7, 8, 9, 10. and then 11, 12. You need to continue because sometimes you go into overtime.
What
And then
about the
just
other team? Like their score?
the other person. So we know our score. Our responsibility is to know our score, right? If we know our score and we know which side we're on, we've accomplished everything that we need to accomplish. The other team is responsible for
But
remembering
when
their
you're
score.
calling out the score, you don't
Yeah.
know theirs.
Yeah, but you need to know your score.
Yeah, if I
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
10,
You can always ask
I
them.
don't know what you guys
Yeah,
have.
what's your score?
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you don't
Yeah.
necessarily have to remember the other
You don't. They're responsible for remembering their
Like
score.
a little counter here, and then a little tab.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
there,
should
you would
invent
mention-
that.
You can buy watches. My playing partner has trouble remembering the score, so I bought her a watch. It's a little watch, and she never uses it. But yeah, people use apps. You can have Siri remember the score for you. Just tell Siri the score and puts it in
Just
it.
get her to
in a
listen.
notepad.
Can you listen to this game and
Most people just rely on somebody else to keep score
Yeah,
for them.
Yeah. There's usually somebody who's super into the score.
Yeah. Yeah, it's usually a guy.
Yeah, it's just gonna
All right, so I'm going to pass these out. I'll give one team. Well, we need new teams now. Okay, so you guys played together to start. You haven't played with Val and Sandy, and you haven't. So you and Sandy. So if you're going to wear who's going to wear the wristband for you and Sandy?
Wristbands. I'll let Ryan wear this one.
Okay, so then you're going to keep the score. And if Ryan's the server, then you're going to keep the score. Right? So, and we'll just try it. And we're not going to use the scoreboard this time. You ladies are going to use your little hair ties, hair elastics. And we're going to see if you can remember the score.
I think age comes into it just a little too.
Yeah. Memory.
Well, age and heat and noise and...
This goes on here.
Yep, put it just on the knob. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so I do want to say one more thing. I do want to say just one more thing, so come on in. I don't want, I'm not going to referee this game. I want everything to be called by you guys. Every call, the score, everything. I want you guys to be completely self-contained. I will observe. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. But I won't be following the score very closely, so you guys got to keep track of this on your own. Okay? Are we remembering to change the wristband and move the hair elastic around? Yeah, awesome, good stuff. Oh, was out? Was that out or was that in? Oh, it was in? Okay. Okay, so that's game then. All right. So Val was concerned she said, I'm never going to remember the score. The
No,
elastic
that's
made it
helpful,
super
yeah.
easy, didn't it?
Also,
Yeah.
Especially when they say point,
Yeah.
because I probably wouldn't
Yeah.
remember. I go, did I move that? But as soon as they say point, then
Yeah.
yeah, that helps me.
So that's good. So people often struggle with the score, and being something tactile or something visual, like moving the elastic from finger to finger, helps them remember the score. So if you're struggling with that, just remember that's a little cheat, a little hack. So when you call the score, you have to say it loud enough for all 4 players on the court to hear it. In a noisy gymnasium, when we have 12 people in here, it can be deafening. So you really have to say the score loud. Some people do, yeah. Yeah, there can be lots of noise. So I'm autistic, so I'm heavily sensitive to noise. So I have to wear hearing protection when it's super loud. That's why I prefer to teach at 8 o'clock in the morning when there aren't a lot of people here.
I have some earbuds, and they're so great because you add a little piece to make it more,
Yep.
and you take a little piece away.
I've got that too, yeah.
A little less. I started doing it with tournaments.
Yeah.
Noise.
Tournaments are crazy loud. Yeah. All right, any questions? No? Okay. Let's go back to our original teams, Ryan and Stevie versus Val and Sandy. We want to make sure that Ryan and Stevie don't go home angry with each other. This will probably be our last game, given our time, because we have to stop at about 1:45. You're going to be Sandy's partner this time. Okay, so check your starting server wristbands. Check your starting server wristbands. Make sure that the starting server is wearing it on their right wrist. Check your elastics. Make sure your elastic is in the right place. Yeah, there we go. So starting server wristband should be on your right wrist if you're the starting server. There we go. Good stuff. Okay, again, I'm not going to be involved. I'm going to let you guys play. Okay, have fun. I hexed you. I'm sorry. Second serve. Oops, I'm not involved. There you go.
It's all good.
Nice try. Fault. You took it out of the air and your left foot was on the blue line. Yeah. It's a very common issue when people start playing. You don't have the mental map yet to where the lines are. So as you become familiar with the lines, you're going to be able to do things without looking at your feet because your brain is going to know where the lines are. We call that mental mapping. So there's a visual mental map. There's also a kinesthetic mental map. And if you get a really strong sense, if those maps overlay well, you'll get a really strong sense of where you are in space, and that helps you with the lines.
Now that one, because I stepped in and was hitting it, should you let it bounce?
Yeah. You're not allowed to hit out of the air, so in that case you have to back up. Yeah.
But if it bounces in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, you can go in. You can go in. You can go in anytime. You just can't hit it out of the air while you're in there.
So if it's coming and it's here and it hasn't bounced, you can't hit it.
Correct.
Back.
But if you let it bounce, then you can walk.
You can walk in even before you let it bounce, as long as you don't hit it out of the air.
Even before you did.
Yeah. You can come in the kitchen anytime you want. You just cannot, while you're in the kitchen, hit a ball out of the air. So people will be waiting for the ball to land before they go into the kitchen. You don't have to wait for it to land. Right? And you'll become comfortable with it. Okay. So game one went to Team Ryan Stevie. We'll call it Team Reevy. And Team Valdi. Team Valdi. Valdi was a Canadian folk singer. So Team. There you go.
That's right, he's cheering. He's good, actually.
Okay, so Team Valdi lost the first game. We're going to play a second game now because pickleball match is best of 3. So we're going to have match 2. You guys won, you serve. Okay? So reset your wristbands and your finger counters. Oh, nice return. Little top spin there. Okay, was it out? What did you think? Yeah, you thought it was out, but what did you think? It looked into me, but okay. So it doesn't matter, but let's come in. So, yeah.
It looked like it was on.
That's what it looked like to me too. But we don't get to decide.
Oh, good.
They get to decide. Okay. So the way that you would, yeah. So Ryan and Stevie call the lines on their side. And they're going to call them on as honestly as they can because you're going to call the lines on your side and you're going to call them as honestly as you can.
Hits the line, it's in.
Yeah. If it's the line, it's in. Yeah. So did you think it landed on? Do you think it landed on the line?
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, so there's going to be times like if let me give you an example. So if I put this ball right here, okay, Ryan, is it touching the line? No. From this side, it's clearly touching the line. Come over and look at it.
Yeah.
Right?
I was looking at it.
Yeah. So this side, it's clearly touching the line. But you come over here, oh no, I can see space. Right? So players are going to disagree on calls. Right? And you need to make your call from your perspective, and you need to make your call from your perspective. And when your calls disagree, you have to make whichever call benefits the other team. Right? And just do that honestly. Yeah. Do that honestly. Yeah. Now, the rules say very clearly, in order to call something out, you have to see space between the line and the ball. You have to see that space. You can't just imagine it's there. You can't just say, oh, it must be out. You have to see it. If you don't see it, then you can't call it. Right? So.
Talk about the kitchen line
Yep.
again. So,
If a ball touches the kitchen line on the serve, it's out.
So that's the only.
That's the only line that's ever out when the ball lands on it. And it's the only racket sport that I'm aware of, where a line is out. Where a line is out, yeah. So
It's only for many sports we're touching the line. So. Okay. 102.
So what are you calling out? The last ball? Okay. Okay. Aha. So you want to remember when your partner's serving, stay back until that second bounce. Out. Oh, great shot. Oh! Nice try, Val. That would have been great. Fault. All right, that's game. All right, so you guys have now played 3 pickleball games where you've kept score. 2 of them you kept score yourself. How's the hair elastic working?
I like it.
It's interesting. I do this a lot, and watching women move the elastic around, it's like a magician. It's you don't even see it happen. But guys are like pulling it off and putting it on. With women, they just do this and magically appears on another finger.
Use them all the time.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
Ryan really did his hair.
Awesome. So, any questions about what we did today? Scorekeeping, any of that?
That was great. That's great.
I'm glad.
We can go kick some butt.
Yeah.
I know we're not talking about strokes, but I had noticed to go backhand, I flip it in my hand. I just need to know if that's wrong.
So,
Like I let go of it and I flip
move your
it.
paddle for a second, right? So, I'm going to hit my forehand with this grip. I'm also going to hit my backhand with this grip, but I do change my grip depending angle and things depending on what I'm doing. Like if I'm going to hit a top spin shot. So you'll figure out your own playing style. If you take lessons, we'll teach you the most common grips. But don't feel ever that you have to do it somebody else's way.
Like doing this and I didn't know like
Not necessarily wrong. Again, it's up to, can be risky, yeah. You want to have good. If you have good stroke technique, you won't have to do that as much.
yeah, well and I was like obviously my location is
So
You've only been here
what
I think you should really beat yourself up.
what you're struggling with is something called contact point. Your impact point is not exactly where it should be in your backhand. That's why you're having to change your grip, and that's fine. I mean, you're just starting. If you're still playing the game in a month or a month and a half or 2 months, you might want to make some adjustments later. But the goal of this class was to get you started,
yeah.
and we did that. So
Backhand, is it a bad habit to do with 2 hands? That's how
No.
I play tennis.
no.
It's like, don't
I do that.
In fact, in new players coming in, I encourage them to learn the 200 backhand, especially ladies. Ladies tend to lack body weight, tend to have a little bit slower reaction speeds. So if you're playing, typically, yeah, men typically as a population have slightly faster.
everything else.
Women tend to be better at movement. Men tend to be better at hitting things with other things. And I think that comes probably part of it from childhood. Men are beating things all the time and whacking things all the time, and girls are dancing and moving and so.
So if we're just playing rec.
Yep.
And say the lead here.
Yep.
Is it all right to like smash down, or is it kind of you just don't do that?
Well, you do.
You do. Okay.
Yeah. If you're getting a lot of opportunities to smash it into players, that means you're playing at the wrong level. So you want to move up.
Get the vibe of the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're
That-
saying.
Yeah.
You don't want to
I don't. Yeah, that's right. I don't want to be like
Yeah. So it's totally legal.
Yeah.
But you got to read the room.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if you're doing that a lot, you're playing with the wrong level because you shouldn't be getting those opportunities. So, and if you're doing that a lot, you really don't need to hit it hard,
No.
right?
Yeah.
So, yep. Good questions, all. Any more questions?
No,
Okay,
that's
guys.
very good.
I hope you enjoyed yourself.
So if we took the
Yeah, I'm the coach here. Yeah, so I do all of the group training activities and all the lessons and everything. Yeah.
So,
Um,
sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
So is the group training, and I can do this online, is it broken down into, or do you touch on whatever the class wants?
Well, there's subjects, there's levels, there's yeah, and we do different things at different times. So, well, you can sign up usually right up until the day before. So we have F classes. The F classes are fundamentals. That's where you're learning strokes. Then we have our P classes. P is proficiency. So you're learning to become proficient at your strokes, and you're learning the movements, the first level of movements. And then we have our M classes where you've learned the strokes, you've learned the movements, now you're mastering them in drills. And then we have our H classes, which are our high performance classes. The high performance aren't really classes, those are more practices, because the high performance people already know everything. They're just trying to get better at it. So they're doing what we call reps, repetitions. Yeah, so you want to start with fundamentals, make sure that your contact point is right, you're holding the racket correctly, your body position is correctly for the strokes. Once you know the strokes, then you move on to the drilling groups and learning, training the movements, where we do drills. And all the drills that we do are game-based. So they're not just boring practices. You're actually playing games. And I have over 1,000 drills that I do with my players, and we have lots of games. And most people actually prefer, in our group anyway, prefer the training to the games. So they all want to play as well, but and then beyond that, it's just a matter of mastering stuff. So we can help you at every level.
And you can come single, double, with it.
Yeah, so there we have for training, we have two options. If you're doing pairs training, you're going to come in a pair. But if it's not labeled as pairs training, then you can come singly or with a group, whatever you want.
Or is it ever two people?
Yeah, there is a singles version. We don't do much singles here at Cedarbrae in the winter. We do some singles in the summer. If you come and play with me at 4 or 5 in the morning, we can play singles. I have my guys that'll play with me at 5 a.m., right? Because that's when we get court time, right? And we like to play singles. And court time at 5 in the morning is super cheap because nobody else wants it, right? So we get the whole gym for one court, right? I used to, but I don't have to anymore now that I'm here. I still do, like on a really nice day in the summer, I'll go play with my friends and stuff outdoors. I don't spend a lot of time outdoors. There's the wind, there's the sun, there's the bugs, there's the smoke, there's the rain, there's all kinds of stuff outside. Here we have a sprung wood floor, so it's a softer floor. It's easier on your body. The ball moves a little slower because it's a little lighter, so you have more time to make your shots in here. You don't have to worry about the wind or the rain or the sun or the smoke or the bugs, any of that stuff indoors. And it's air conditioned in here when it's 37 degrees outside. Yeah, and when it's 5 degrees outside, it's also heated in here. So.
I just had a quick question about balls.
Yep.
There are different balls, so if you were going to buy balls,
if you're only going to drop in and group training activities, you don't even need to own a ball, right? You'll need to own a ball if you're, like, say, going to play at JVC or going to play at the new place, the Calgary Pickleball Center. You're going to have to buy your own ball, like, if you're doing that sort of thing. You're going to play outdoors, you're going to need to, unless you're going to a drop-in program that provides the balls. But generally speaking, you don't. If you're in rec and doing training activities, then the balls will be provided. So.
Where's the best place to get paddles from?
Well, I have a racket store, so you're welcome to come visit me. But yeah, you can also go to any sporting goods store carries them now. I'm in Canyon Meadows. It's called Racket Network. So.
Racket Network?
Yep.
it's a bricks and mortar store.
Yep. Sorry. I don't do shoes anymore, but you can order shoes from our website. So I was in the business for 30 years, and I used to specialize in pickleball shoes. But I don't have room anymore. I'm semi-retired now, so I can teach every morning. So I don't open till noon. I close at 6 every day, and I'm closed every weekend. On long weekends, I'm closed for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And this week coming up, I'm doing an instructor course, so I'm going to be closed Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So.
What are pickleball shoes? What's the difference?
If you're playing indoors, you want an indoor court shoe. If you're playing outdoors, you want an outdoor court shoe. If you buy a shoe that has the word pickleball on it, I guarantee you're going to pay too much for it.
Yeah.
Right?
So any runner or not?
Well, you can wear runners, but they're not built for pickleball, and you will destroy your runners, and you're more likely to trip if you're in a running shoe. Because a running shoe, so I'm wearing running shoes right now, they're designed for forward movement only. In pickleball, you're stopping, changing direction, moving side to side. Running shoes are not built for that. The platform is too soft, so you're not very balanced. A court shoe, you're low to the ground, and it has a very firm sole. So they're not very comfortable to wear, but they're very, very stable, right? So you want court shoes, yeah, and then appropriate for the surface you're playing on. So if you're playing on a hardwood floor, you want a soft rubber sole, which none of you have. And if you're playing on like a vinyl floor, then you can get away with an indoor or an outdoor shoe. Playing outdoors, you probably want a hard sole, unless you're old like me and you want a softer ride. Then you're going to wear an indoor shoe outdoor anyway. You don't care about it wearing out.
It's a safety thing too.
Yep.
Like my sneakers are like
Sliding, yeah.
like usually when I'm back or
I don't harass people who are just coming into the learner class about their shoes because you're just learning. You might not even be playing the sport in 2 weeks or a month. So I'm not going to force people to go out and buy court shoes for that. If you're playing regularly, and especially if you're playing at beyond the beginner level, you're going to want to get the right court shoe just for support. Any other questions? All right, great to see you guys, and hopefully we'll see you in our programs. Check with the front desk to find out about your membership. I'm going to put some equipment away, and then if you guys are still around, I'll say goodbye to you in the lobby. And I'm going to find the bag for the net.
Elastic on the table, or do you want to?
You can keep it. That'll be yours for counting your score.